Okay, so I'm at the croc pond, what's called croc pond by some in Birkenhead Park. I've just finished planting up. We did an amphibian survey here this spring, and we found out there's all sorts of stickleback, and the only amphibians we found were common frog tadpoles in this section of the pond, which probably gets disconnected from there in summer, not this wet summer. But yeah, the rangers asked were there any plants we could put in to enhance this pond. It's already quite, I'm not sure you can see it, there's a bed of hornwort and nice oxygenating plants in the water column, on the littoral zone on the water bed, going into the water column, sorry. On the margins quite high up, so it's been a wet summer, but the water level is still fairly low, and I'm not sure. I heard this might be a spring-fed thing, the spring's over there. There's a fair bit of hanging sedge around the upper margins of the lake, of the pond, sorry. I can see little bits of marsh marigold. Now, and earlier I've seen further down little bits of water forget-me-not. I think it's probably water forget-me-not. I've also found bits of brook lime, and I think that's it. I'll probably mention others. So anyway, we said, what should we plant? And also there's we do need to sort of thin the trees out. They have been there definitely on that sort of cypress. We should probably take that whole cypress out really. But yeah, another thing about this pond is I need to sort of get some light into it. I think it's okay now, but they could do with a bit more thinning. There's a rhododendron up there. But what was I saying? Anyway, so they asked so as well as doing that, are there any plants they could add to this to maybe improve it? So I'm not sure what the history is. Oh, there's a moorhen over there. So we can get a picture as we're speaking. Because I've been working with ponds on the Wirral, well, ponds in general, but especially on the Wirral the past decade now. What, 24? I moved back 2015. So, and I've been working on ponds especially since 2012. Especially, not that I've not done anything before. So yeah, so I decided to come out a list of plants which we could complement the existing flora and maybe enhance the ecosystem health of this pond and maybe support other species. I'll start with what I've just finished planting. I say planting, I've unceremonially scattered this watercress around it. This is a native aquatic plant, a bit of an emergent floating species, and they tend to do well. This is from another pond we've restored where we transplanted watercress. The reason why we sort of engaged with the rangers was we didn't want them to just go to a garden centre and plant stuff up. I think we said, okay, that might risk bringing stuff from outside, stuff from the garden centre. I know garden centres which have lots of invasives in, so instead I said, okay, let's just transplant from ponds already on the ponds on the Wirral where we know the species and we sort of know the history of which invasives are present, which are probably already here, and also and to be sensible, like we weren't translocating from ponds which had crassula or other invasive species. So we sort of knew the history, and sometimes it's bad luck if we do get them. So that's the watercress, but if you see on the other bank over here, I've actually put in some plugs of mare's tail, which is from a pond in Liso. Mare's tail, water mint, water forget-me-not. So it's only today we've noticed the water forget-me-not here, but we're adding a lot more of it, and that could potentially support newts, because for all I know, newts are in the area, especially smooth newts, and they like using water forget-me-not. I'll also walk down. I've also put what I think is called amphibious biswort, which is Persicaria amphibia. Now that's another plant that does well. And the other issue is you can see it's quite eutrophic, so we could do with more plants absorbing those extra nutrients. Now the more species, the better. Species help do it. We've also planted water mint, which is a nice plant. Again, it did very well in our other ponds. You can see there's this sort of channel which is sort of quite murky. See, I've thrown some more watercress in. Some have pushed into the sediment, but others I'll just leave to blow around. It should take, so we'll see how it goes. There's plenty more where that came from. So walking down, and this is also a bit of a note. So yeah, I think Mare's Tail, I wasn't originally planning to plant it, but one of the source ponds we got the water mints and forget-me-not from. It was quite prominent there, and it's quite a nice plant. So I took it. What else have we got? I also today, when I was getting more the amphibious pistils, I saw lots of European water horehounds, so I've added some of that. I think there's some of that over there if I zoom in. Yeah, there it is. And another thing I planted, I've not very much of, because I think getting the roots out was a bit tricky, and that is water fringe, which I've in the past mistaken for floating pennywort, that ghastly invasive, but no, we've done well. If you look over there, that's one of the plugs, multi-species plugs. You can see the water mint sticking out. And yeah, it's just those few species at the moment. I might add further species, but also trying to see how these ones go. I remember there might be a few even rarer species we could add. Anyway, so this is the larger pond here where they have a dipping platform. And this is where, well, a lot of the sticklebacks were this spring. I'm not sure if I haven't seen any yet. There's a lot of duckweed. Again, this is probably a sign of sort of nutrients in the sediments. Again, maybe with all these new plants we've added, will be beneficial. There is on that bank, mostly planted on this bank, getting most of the sun, and stuff can grow around. There's also some yellow flag iris around too. But on that bank, there's also some what looks like a persicaria. I thought it was an amphibious pistil, but I think there might be amphibious pistils among it now. You can see the moorhen again. And I think that's all I've planted. Is there anything else I've forgotten? Yeah. But yeah, it's a day's work, but I started collecting the plants the week before and then ran out of time, and so I've come back today to do it. Yeah, I wonder what's this plant? Oh, that's not. I'm always every day's a lesson.